Hello, this is Vampire, and for today, I like to read to you guys some really famous quotes and talk about how I apply them to my martial arts training. The first one is, "The mind is your greatest weapon." All right, so how do I apply that to my training? Basically, to me, that quote is basically talking about you need to have a strong mind. So, how do I strengthen my mind? One of the things that I used to do, and I still do it today, and I really enjoy actually, is to go work out, to go exercise at a time when you really don't want to. So like one of the things that I used to do was there was a parking lot space. It was a parking lot building, and it had staircases. It went like 4 or 5 stories high, and after midnight, I would go over there and I'd run up and down the stairs. That was one of the things that I really enjoyed, and yeah, did it suck? It did. It really did. I really didn't want to do it every night. I guarantee you, I did not want to do it, but I did that for quite some time until I moved basically, and I didn't have access to a place like that anymore. But that was great. That was fantastic. So for that, I kind of imagine almost like the military. That's what helps me out a lot. Like Navy SEALs, they get woken up like at 5 o'clock in the morning, get dropped off in the middle of the ocean, and they look around and there is no land in sight. They can't even see the shore, right? But by noon, they'll be in the cafeteria eating lunch, just like everyone else, that kind of thing. Or imagine the special forces guys out there in training right now, in some hill country area where it's just all like hills and wood, right? And it's like raining, and it's in the middle of the night, and it's cold, and all they have is like their rucksack, a waterproof notepad, and an inaccurate map, and they have to hit these checkpoints, and they're riding in the rain, trying to figure out their coordinates. Okay, so just think about stuff like that, what it takes. So that's the kind of thing to me that helps with the training to go out and do your run, even if it's in the rain. The second quote: "Fatigue makes cowards of us all." So how do I tackle this in my training? To me, this is the easiest one because this to me is simply about cardio. So, all you have to do is work on your cardio and make sure you slowly increase it, right? So I think that's pretty straightforward. The next quote: "The greatest fear is fear of the unknown." I think that's one that we've all heard many times. So how do you train for that? One of the things that I like to do is to try to experience as many X factors, experience as many things as possible in sparring, in training, right? So for example, if you are a grappler, I think it's very important, and I really enjoyed this experience, was to train on different types of ground. Of course, carpet, mat, of course, is, very nice and everything, but to train on grass, sand, dirt. Yes, there's a difference between training on like the beach sand and then training on dirt, muddy dirt. It's different. It's not the same. And then also training on asphalt, on concrete, there is a way to do it. Your body, if you go slow enough at first and patient enough, you could get away doing it and not get hurt. That there's a way to adapt to that. So to experience those kinds of things is definitely going to help you out when you encounter a real life situation. It may not be exactly the same, but at least you'll have like a relating point, to help you overcome and decrease the amount of fear going on. The last quote is one that I personally just made up. It goes like this: "Nothing fatigues the mind more than fear." Now, I made this quote based on a real life situation. There has been several instances where I felt like there was someone trying to break into my place, right? There was one circumstance where it was beyond that, where they were actually in the house and heading towards my bedroom. By this point in time, I was not there. They didn't know. I was already armed, and I was hiding, ready to attack, right? So strategically, tactically, I was in a superior situation, right? But it was quite scary. It really was, just because, the consequences were great and everything. So the mind likes to fantasize. And I call it distractions, because basically the mind naturally starts thinking of things that have nothing to do with what's happening now to help you. You should be thinking about, like, where is the exit? Where is their getaway car? Very specific, detailed things you should probably be thinking about, things that are going to help you right now, But instead, you start thinking about, like, what happens if I die? My parents, my family, they're going to see this on the news the next day. Those are fantasy stuff. That hasn't happened. And if it does, you really can't do anything about it, and it's not going to help you right now. One of the things that I like to do to train for that is to go to a horror movie, and within that horror movie there are moments where you're going, oh my gosh, it's getting kind of creepy, and at that very moment, that's when I would start to practice my breathing, and that's when I would start to practice, like, if you're imagining yourself as the main character, what do I need to do? What is going to help me at this moment?